celebrate music and have a good time, but this is also about an issue that's really important to musicians and also to fans. So, you know, this all came together for me because I wrote a book primarily about music piracy and copyright and all that kind of stuff, and I started, you know, talking to lots of people who were involved in that world, and eventually the Content Creators Coalition, I heard it was forming, and I started talking to some of the people who were involved in it, and we had a meeting in Brooklyn last fall. Good. There's Brooklyn over there, I like. And Mark was at it, so we met, and after the meeting, you know, I've learned Mark is a really passionate guy, sometimes impatient, to his benefit. So he decided, you know, he wanted to do something. He wanted to try to do anything, right? Do something. So he started talking about what to do, and he had this idea for doing an event. And as we started looking around for, you know, if you're going to do an event, what's it going to be about? We realized, and I was only half aware of this issue, even though I've written a book about the music industry, that the United States is one of a handful of countries that does not pay performing artists and songwriters, I mean not songwriters, session players, royalty. The other countries are China, North Korea, Iran, Rwanda, and Vietnam. So, you know, this is something maybe I'd heard about in the past, but it's like, you know, before we move on to any of these other big issues, how about we start with this one? And Mark agreed, and other people agreed, and you know, if there's one big number and statistic that I want to throw out right at the beginning, is that last year alone, radio on-air advertising brought in over $14 billion for commercial broadcasters, and the artists that you know, recorded that music, they didn't see a dime, and this has been going on forever in the United States. So, you know, hopefully today, and what's going to happen after today, is the start of fixing that, and, you know, Lord knows there are a lot of other things to fix in the future. Mark?
Okay, I'm going to be really brief. This thing started, the Content Creators Coalition started because a bunch of artists and musicians and people who other creators of so-called content, I always use that word with quotes. It's a terrible name. You got to think of a new name, by the way. Maybe we'll hold a raffle for the name. But the quote Content Creators unquote Coalition came together because those of us who are doing this are no longer going to consent. We are no longer going to allow ourselves to be used in the manufacturing of consent, in the destruction of our livelihoods, of our industry, and of our art forms. We're not going to consent to it anymore. We're not going to be told to shut up and play. We're going to make noise, and that's what we're doing here tonight. We're going to make all kinds of noise. Thought noise, guitar noise, and human noise of all type. And we're going to keep doing it. This issue of the radio play, as Chris was saying, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these issues are hellishly complex, and they put you to sleep when you start. They put me to sleep anyways. I let people like Chris figure them out. But this is what, I mean, you know it's a serious case when even I woke up and I thought, this is getting bad. And I had to start looking under the hood and seeing what was happening. And when I did look under the hood and see what was happening, I realized that there are outrageous things going on. I mean, most people don't understand that Aretha Franklin didn't make any money for the radio play of Respect. Now, it's complicated, okay? The songwriter, Otis Redding, did get paid. But Aretha did not get paid from that radio play. And, you know, people are going to say, well, so what? She made money other ways. But, you know, I'm sorry. She deserved that bread. And artists and musicians everywhere else in the world get that bread. She deserves it too. And so, anyways, yeah, we decided to come together and do this event based on that. There were many other issues that the people who we spoke to, the artists and musicians in the Content Creators Coalition, are feeling. There are many other things that are causing our industry's collapsed by over 60%. And if anybody thinks that, I mean, there's a lot of BS floating around out there, but anybody who thinks that you can suck $15 billion a year out of an industry without hurting real people is dreaming. So anyways, as Mickey Mouse used to say, on with the show.
Thank you, Mark. That was great. I think we now leave the stage. No, Mark is actually going to be on stage pretty much all night long. A lot of great